I'm Aaron Hallett. I write original Christian rock. It's really cold outside, and I'm so glad I've got a heater now. Well, this morning it was -1 Fahrenheit. I think it's since gone up, but it's still in the single digits. Let's see. Let me open this up. I had a sort of a thing I did earlier. I just did a crappy voice recording. It was like almost inaudible because it was early in the morning and I didn't want to wake my wife up, but I wanted to not forget the idea. My idea was just like this part where I'm going to go like really heavy and then like a little, no, some kind of scale run thing. I'm just sounding this out, but I think it's in D major. So I said heavy, make it heavy. I got a thaw amp plug-in by Home Audio, and I can do a massive amount of alternate tunings with this thing. I can also do alternate tunings with this thing. This thing right now, in particular, I'm going to drop it on here just because I got this preset saved that's really nice. So ridiculously heavy. And the pick attack is nuts. All right. I got through that. So now, immediately, I want to see what I can do in this bridge section. Ended up just doing octaves on down, boom, like downbeat stuff mostly. All right, so you see what this sounds like if I do this. Sounds like a distorted bass. That's what it sounds like. Yesterday, I had this bridge section, and it was funny because it looked like I was doing nothing on the bass guitar, but my picking finger was just below the camera's ability to see, kind of like it is right now. And I was just strumming on the E string like this, but I'm going like, it looked like I was doing absolutely nothing. I did have a guitar that I used the poly shifter here, the Boss poly shifter, to drop it like 2 octaves, so that already sounded like a distorted bass. There's 3 octaves. What the hell? I'm going to do it. Because you know what? Why not be stupid? Let's see if it worked, because I'm not sure if this automates that. I'm going to do a couple things, make that sound better right there. So what am I at? 14% on this. I want to get right back there. All right, I think that's all I'm going to do because I don't want to break it here. I have to undo something that I miss. So when this is all said and done, that's not a bass guitar, that is a guitar. In standard tuning, no less. What I'm going to do is double track without double tracking. I got a few things where I kind of already have this built in, so I'm just going to pick one. There's a mixer here, so I'm going to delay by roughly 1 or 2, actually exactly 1 or 2, but I might move it around depending on how this blends. Immediately gives you what I just had going on there, which is out to the sides. Insta doubling for this bridge part where I drop it an octave, but it's not going to drop on this double. Now I just panned that out. All right, and then I'm going to go to a right side. All right, I'm going to throw a guitar solo on this thing. Pedals off. After a few flops, actually it was only 2 because that's track counter 3. I got it. I am going to unplug this thing, put it back on the wall. All right, put my fingerless gloves back on because it is actually cold enough in here. My fingers have bad circulation, so like Doesn't take much, and they get too cold to use. Being that the temperature in here is going to just make it a pain in the butt to keep playing stuff, because my guitar keeps going sharp or whatever. So if I want to do overdubs on this, I think I might just use the MIDI guitars, because they're not subject to temperature. I gotta figure out what those... I think it was just B minor scales straight up. I just wrote that in because, like, I'm gonna run out of range anyway, because, like, I can only get to this B. Alright, so those I'll do palm mutes until I get here, which will go back to that. Okay. So I just did single note, and I like make these like perfectly on the grid, and then I'm gonna put this setting on, which just immediately does a power chord. Okay, so that should then repeat all over again. Weird laser gun effects. I might do more with the clean stuff, but first I need to go pee. All right, I'm back. Phone's hitting my base. Put it up there. Still cold out. I'm not wearing just a hoodie, by the way. I've got some layers underneath, like really warm stuff too. I also have a down jacket sitting on the chair I had over top. I forgot what part I was playing here right at the end because I'm dumb and I'm just gonna punch it. Not worth replaying the whole thing. All right, and then this guy. So I upload my stuff through DistroKid. I put out albums like a maniac. So their service is really cool because if you're like me and you're putting out music constantly, it just charges you a flat rate. You don't have to pay per album. Otherwise, I'd be spending $1 million a month. Obviously exaggerating. I had 2 albums come out since this one prior to them was rejected because I think it's like an AI thing that just like scans the songs. I have a cover song on there and it thought I was using samples from the original song, but I wasn't. I guess it's like complimentary that I was playing it close enough that it thought it was the original, but it's totally not. Anyway, a little piece of advice, I guess. Choose a different key and tempo than the original song because mine was so close that it thought it was the original and I was using unauthorized samples. So I got the licensing to do the cover song, but not to use samples. However, my song had 0 samples. So one, DistroKid, their customer service put it through because, you know, I just said, hey, this is not right. I had to go through their chat bot, which is slightly annoying, but I just bumped up to a customer service thing and then they just pushed it through manually. But yeah, if you're doing a cover song though, apparently they just scan it like for tempo, key, and note changes. And if you're playing similar, it doesn't know the difference between the original recording or a cover. Although ironically, mine is dropped a full octave from the original. So I'm doing a super heavy version and I'm like, I guess it doesn't differentiate an octave, so whatever. But yeah, anyway, they did a good job, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just saying. All right, I'm gonna go do the drums. I actually ended up doing that twice because I got through like most of the first one and I was like, this is too busy. I was like doing a lot of fills and just stupid stuff. I reset and played some easier things. All right, I think my camera battery's keeling over. I keep like taking longer doing these because I'm writing in stuff and doing extra things, but I need to put down lyrics and kind of have a rough idea for a melody, but nothing flushed out really, so I'm going to go figure that out, get some hydration, and just charge my camera battery a little bit, so I'll be right back. Got some lyrics, a little bit of hydration. Battery is charged probably enough to do this. When I said the battery was dying, like the thing was like literally flashing. It was about to turn off in 10 seconds. I think I'm going to just do some random screamy nonsense in the verse. Got a melody idea for a pre-chorus and a chorus, so it took a few resets because I was trying to figure out how the heck to make the verse work, and I just did a bunch of weirdness, honestly. So it's more like sound effects than a melody. I think it works. It's a crazy heavy song. It's not like a complicated heavy song. It's just a groove with super low tuning. I did manage to get right through that. The hardest part is coming into the last chorus, and getting the chorus is recognizable. They vary, but as long as you can like recognize it as the main melody, it's okay. I think anyway. All right, so I'm just gonna cut right to the chase because I just got a little bit of charge out of that thing, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. So the bottom of my description box is gonna have the lyrics, so I just copy paste it right from my phone. The middle of the description box is where you can find me online, purchase and stream my music. So iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, the list goes on. DistroKid puts me up on all these places, so I should be most areas you want to search. The top thing is a link. So I say it's Christian rock in the beginning. My lyrics are geared towards that sometimes not, depends on the day, but I don't really say much about it other than I'm just putting that link there because I know there's a bunch of teaching online that's really not good. This is good stuff. It's objective teaching. What does it actually say? What were the writers intending? Grammar translation from the original languages, which clears up a whole bunch of stuff right there. And then no traditional and denominational stuff piled on. It's just simply what does it actually say and teaching only. So I think it's a good resource. Started putting it in my description box just to counteract all the other stuff I see online. All right, that's it for now. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Here comes the final version. Oh, if you hear a bunch of crazy robot effects on my voice, I'm using a plugin called Humanoid. That's what's doing it. I just think it sounds cool, especially for this particular, sound I'm going for. So that's what you're about to hear. Shine.